Welcome, everyone, to this Masterclass Explainer. Let's be real for a second. If you've ever felt your heart practically beating out of your chest or your palms getting totally sweaty, just thinking about stepping into the boardroom to pitch key stakeholders, you are in exactly the right place today. I'm stepping into the role of your executive speaking coach, and we are going to unpack an absolute goldmine of communication strategy. We're talking about Dale Carnegie's timeless framework for high-stakes business communication. We're going to transform how you present, turning those raw nerves into pure, undeniable boardroom power. All right, let's dive into this.
Now we're kicking things off with a massive truth bomb straight from our source material. The text points out something profound. The absolute only way to truly overcome your fear of speaking is to, well, actually get up and do it. And notice what we just did here? Opening with a powerful quote is a classic Dale Carnegie technique. It instantly sets this highly professional, inspiring tone for the room, and honestly, it captures your audience's attention before you've even made your first argument.
Just look at the sheer scale of this challenge. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 75% of people suffer from glossophobia. That's the official term for the fear of public speaking. The source material actually points out a fascinating, if slightly crazy fact. Many people literally fear speaking in public more than they fear death itself. Think about that. So if you're feeling those boardroom jitters, I want to disarm you right here, right now. You are absolutely not alone, and it is a completely normal reaction.
Now, any true professional respects their stakeholders' time by giving them a clear roadmap. So here's our agenda for today. First, conquering those fears. Second, the executive listening advantage. Third, blueprinting your high-stakes pitch. Fourth, engaging key stakeholders. And finally, flawless delivery. First up, part 1, conquering public speaking fears.
You know, if you're an ambitious professional, it's really easy to think that great speakers are just born with a mic in their hand. But think again. The source reminds us of countless stories of people who faced this exact fear head-on and won. Look at these names: Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey. Every single one of them has admitted that before they became these legendary, incredibly successful communicators, they were absolutely terrified of public speaking. They had to systematically overcome their fear. And hey, if they can do it, you definitely can too.
Moving right along to part 2, the executive listening advantage.
Okay, we really need to draw a hard line here between the amateur act of just hearing and the professional strategy of listening. The source text makes this brilliant distinction. Hearing, that's entirely passive. It's just letting words bounce off your eardrums and then blurting out some immediate thoughtless reaction. But listening means slowing down. It means actively holding on to every small detail, deeply understanding it, and formulating a purposeful response. When you're presenting, you can't just talk at your audience. You've got to actively read their feedback to make sure your message is actually landing.
Time for a little tough love reality check. Research shows that as listeners, we typically only retain about 50% of what we hear. Just half. Why is that? Well, because our brains are usually split in two directions. We're busy thinking about the brilliant thing we want to say next instead of actually paying attention. As an executive speaker, this means that sometimes you just need to shut up, pause, and actively listen to your audience's questions or reactions. Because if you don't, you are completely missing their actual needs.
Part 3, blueprinting your high-stakes pitch.
Think about how different everyday, casual conversation is from formal public speaking. In a chat over coffee, it's totally unplanned, you use slang, you just say whatever comes to mind. But the boardroom, that requires meticulous planning and strategic, formal language. Now, a quick warning from the source here: do not fall into the trap of using overly heavy, complex jargon just to sound smarter. Your language has to be highly professional, absolutely, but it still needs to be accessible enough that every single person in that room can easily track your message. So before you even think about writing a single word of your pitch, you've got to challenge yourself with this. Who exactly are your stakeholders? You have to deeply analyze your audience. The source gives this great example. Say you're speaking to an audience that wants to improve their married life. You've got to speak directly to the reasons, the influences, and the solutions that are completely relevant to them. Maybe even share a personal experience. You need to talk to them beforehand, figure out where they're coming from, and pinpoint their exact mentality and their specific purpose for being in that room.
Once you actually know your audience, it's time to use what Carnegie calls the preparation outline. And no, this does not mean writing out every single word like a script. You're organizing logically. Step 1, select a clear title and topic. Whether it's an overview of a totally new market or pitching a specific product, keep it focused. Step 2, design a light introduction to break the ice and interact with the room. Step 3 is building the main body. The source emphasizes using a special order here. If you're discussing the pros of something, group all those pros together. Then move to the cons and finally hit them with the solutions. Keep your main points separate from your examples so nobody gets confused. And step 4, wrap the whole thing up with a clear, definitive conclusion.
Which brings us to part 4, engaging your key stakeholders.
To really prove your points and build deep trust, you need an absolute arsenal of supporting materials. The source outlines some really powerful tools here. Visual aids, like presentation decks, are fantastic. If your topic is electric vehicles, for instance, showing a clear visual clarifies those complex mechanics instantly. You can also use physical examples. Maybe even bring someone up for a quick task to build a real connection. Then there's storytelling. Sharing a personal incident related to your topic is huge because it bypasses logic and goes straight to the audience's subconscious. And of course, numerical data. Graphs and hard numbers build instant trust and make your information way more memorable than just spoken words ever could.
Now listen, with this immense power to influence people comes a ton of responsibility. The source is incredibly clear on this. You must never misuse your speaking skills to manipulate your listeners for personal gain. Absolute honesty is your ultimate currency in the boardroom. The rule is brilliantly simple. If you don't know something, or if you lack expertise on a specific question, just admit it. Seriously, it is always better to say, "I'll go find out for you," than to mislead your audience and permanently destroy your credibility.
And finally, part 5, executing a flawless delivery.
Look, visual credibility starts the absolute second you walk into the room, before you even open your mouth. The source makes this crystal clear. Professionals don't show up to a massive pitch wearing gym shorts and a t-shirt and expect anyone to take them seriously, right? When we picture a truly powerful speaker, we picture an executive in a well-tailored suit or appropriate sharp formal wear. You have to dress to command respect from the jump.